Okay, we're back to ballroom dancing now. Yeah, my wife and I went back. It's been several years since we've been, but we ventured out last Saturday night and went ballroom dancing. It's a place close to home that we've gone to for many years back in the 90s, and it's still there. And it was kind of like walking into a time machine. Same guy playing the music, same music, same setup. Not as many people. Some things have changed, and not as many people, and only a few that we actually knew. We knew one guy that was there. We knew him well, and then we were just acquainted with this other couple, this little Asian couple, that are. I always remember them as being so well dressed, polite. They were just wonderful people. And this dance that they liked to do the most was the Viennese waltz, which is a very difficult dance to do. And every time the Viennese waltz would come on, they would start off and they'd go down one wall of the room and stop because something went wrong. And they'd have a little conference, they'd start over again, and they'd stop. This was like 20 years ago. So they were there, and guess what happened? Viennese waltz came on, they got up, they looked beautiful, they started off, went down the wall, and stopped. And had a little conference, and started over again, and stopped, and had a little conference. It was just interesting to me that all these years, they're doing the same thing. So, we enjoyed ourselves, and kind of renewed our interest in wanting to get back involved in dancing. So, time has gone on. There are some new places here in town, locally, that we can go to. One's having a big 50s dance next weekend, bringing in a big DJ and all this kind of fancy stuff. So my wife called to reserve our tickets for it. And kind of a bittersweet thing going on here. I'm saving $2 on each ticket because we get the senior discount. See, there comes a point in your life when you get to a certain age where the places that give senior discounts, but you don't know what age is senior. Well, here, 55 is senior. Great. So we get to go with the senior citizens discount, get to go to the dance. So we're going to do that next Saturday night. And then after that, I think we will go back to the Fred Astaire studio, which we were very connected with in the late 90s. My wife spent most of our money there as she took lessons and competed. And at that time I was teaching myself, and did that for quite a while. We only danced together once competitively, and that was more than enough. It's like teaching your wife to drive a car. It may save some money not having to hire someone to do it, but there's a trade-off. So we only competed together once, I think, and I never taught her. I would never teach her a thing. I would go with her to lessons, but I would never attempt to teach her anything. I'd pay somebody to do that. So we're going to go back and do that, hopefully, and see if we can't get back in. Ballroom dancing is really nice as far as a social outlet for people. You get to really become well connected with a lot of people. Strangely enough, I find that a lot of doctors, dentists, and engineers it's kind of the big categories of people, especially men, that I had when I would teach. And it was just truly comical, especially for an engineer, trying to teach an engineer to dance. Because some people will get the concept of, okay, you step here and then turn your body to the left. Oh, how many degrees? I did have a guy once wanted to know how many degrees he was supposed to turn his body. What are you going to do? Then I can remember one guy, it was so bad. I don't know what it was we were teaching, but basically all he had to do was take a step and take another step. Now he could walk. I mean, because I would say, are you able to walk? Can you just walk across the room? And he could do that. But if I would say, okay, do the same thing but go 1, 2 as you take your steps. Could not do it. 1, he was frozen. Those were very interesting people to try to work with, to try to get them to move their bodies a little bit. And now the interesting thing that I find, that I'm so involved with CrossFit, which is a lot about movement, a lot about Olympic lifts, agility, speed, all these kinds of things. That's where all of this dancing stuff is really paying off for me. Because we did agility ladders, for example, which is where you have little squares across the floor and you're jumping through, kind of like adult hopscotch. Maybe that would be a way of saying it. And I really did well on that because I have really good coordination as far as my feet and my arms and my leg and my brains. I like to think I do. So that's kind of cool because I was able to make the steps without too much problem. And for other people, you know, it was a big issue. And those are just interesting differences to me in people. For example, in CrossFit, I love deadlift day. I love deadlift day because I can lift pretty much more than anybody else. There's a couple, you know, super mutant people that I'll never lift as much as them. But for the regular folk, I can get up there and I can lift more than most of them. And I always know if we've got a routine that involves, or a workout that involves deadlifts, I've got a chance. Because Eric, who is my arch enemy in CrossFit, oh, I don't mean that, I mean he's the closest competition to me as far as age and stuff. If we have something that involves deadlifts, I know I've got it. Because he's just a little bit slower than I am on deadlifts. But if it also involves setups, like deadlifts to setups, then he's got me because he's much faster in setups. So it's interesting for me in CrossFit, and as it was in dancing, to see how different people have different skills. So I don't know what that means, but that's what I'm talking about today. So there you go. So, in addition to talking to me about CrossFit and kettlebells, if you would like to talk about ballroom dancing, I can do that too, because that's another one of my passions.